YouTube, how we doing, family? It's your boy Yo, and there's another episode of Yo Hoops. We go through every NBA game every day. Today's Sunday, March 23rd, and we have an 8-game NBA card. I'm gonna walk you through every game, let you know which sides I like, and stick around because I have 2 highlighted selections for today. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's recap. Recapping yesterday, we dropped our highlighted play of the day. We took the Indiana Pacers laying 9.5 points against the Brooklyn Nets. Bro, that was despicable. The Pacers looked great through 3 quarters. They led the game 90-70 going into the fourth, and they really let the Nets go on a 20-2 run to start the quarter. I've been doing this a long time, and that was one of the most dramatic runs I've ever seen by a team down 20 plus points. I'm definitely going to have to rethink how I view the Pacers. We're now 12-14 against the spread on highlighted plays in March, but I got 2 winners for you guys today. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. In our first matchup of the evening, we have the New Orleans Pelicans in Detroit taking on the Detroit Pistons. Pistons are laying 12 points, and the total is 230. Obviously, the Pistons are on another level compared to the Pelicans. They're fighting for a secured playoff spot, while the Pelicans are fighting for the worst record in the league. The Pels also come into this one with a lengthy injury report. Zion Williamson, Yves Messi, and Jose Alvarado are all listed as questionable. I definitely think the Pistons win this game, but this 12-point line is efficient in my opinion. I'm going to lean towards the Pistons laying the points, but the Pelicans have been surprisingly competitive recently, even winning games that they aren't supposed to win outright. Honestly, this is probably my least favorite game on the board just based on the line, but I do lean towards the Pistons laying the 12 as our first selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers in Utah taking on the Utah Jazz. Cavs are laying 16 points, and the total is 240.5. The Jazz are 1 game ahead of the Wizards for the worst record in the league, and I expect them to be in full tank mode. Looking at their injury report for this one, Lauri Markkanen, Elijah Harkless, John Collins, and KJ Martin are all ruled out, so they're still significantly banged up. The Cavs did lay an egg in that last game against the Suns, but I expect them to get right here. They're back at full strength and rested. Granted, this isn't the best spot flying into Utah, but I think the Cavs get this one done by margin. We're taking the Cavs laying the 16 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Boston Celtics in Portland taking on the Portland Trailblazers. Celtics are laying 7.5 points, and the total is 218.5. There's a lot going on with the injury report in this one. For the Celtics, Jaylen Brown and Xavier Tillman are ruled out. Then Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis are all questionable. On the Blazers side, Robert Williams III, DeAndre Ayton, and Jabari Walker are all ruled out. Jeremy Grant is doubtful. Then Anthony Simons and Donovan Clingan are questionable. I want to see how the injury reports play out, but I am leaning towards the Blazers. They're on a 4-game win streak playing through injury, and they just aired out the Nuggets in their last game by 19 points. Granted, Jokic didn't play, but still impressive. The Celtics just got a win and cover against the Utah Jazz, but coming off of a win, they've been terrible from an ATS perspective, just 15, 31, and 1 on the season. I won't be surprised at all if the Blazers win this one outright, but we're taking the Blazers plus 7.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Charlotte Hornets in Miami taking on the Miami Heat. Heat are laying 4.5 points, and the total is 212. There's something off about this line. This game definitely means more to the Heat. They're currently in the 10th spot in the East, but something tells me the Hornets aren't going to lay down. The Hornets have no new additions to their injury report, while the Heat have Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo both listed as questionable. If Bam doesn't play, Miami's in trouble. These 2 teams faced off this month on March 10th, and the Hornets won 105-102 in Miami. LaMelo only had 15 points in that one, and the Hornets still found a way to win it outright. The Hornets have been better against the spread in this spot all season, and I think they give themselves a chance to win it outright down the stretch. We're taking the Hornets plus 4.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Philadelphia 76ers in Atlanta taking on the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks are laying 9.5 points, and the total is 239.5. The Sixers injury report somehow gets longer every time I look at it. I refresh my screen and someone gets added. These two teams faced each other this month on March 10th, and the Hawks won 132 to 123. That game was also in Atlanta. The Sixers are now missing pieces like Lonnie Walker and Adam Bona that contributed in that last game, and Trae Young didn't play. Quentin Grimes is going to have to drop another 40 piece for the Sixers to even compete in this one. The Hawks are known to play down to their competition, but they should run these boys out of the gym here. We're taking the Hawks laying the 9.5 as our first highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the San Antonio Spurs in Toronto taking on the Toronto Raptors. Raptors are laying 2 points, and the total is 234.5. This line actually opened with the Spurs being slight favorites, but it's now moved a few points in the Raptors' direction. Both teams come into this one significantly banged up, really a bottom-of-the-barrel game I'll personally be staying away from. The Raptors have been playing banged up all season, so this is business as usual, and they've been the better team from an ATS perspective by a pretty decent margin. Like I said, I'm personally in no rush to bet this one, but at home in Canada, I'd have to lean towards the Raptors. We're taking the Raptors on the money line. No point to lay the 2 points. You can find it for minus 120 odds as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Denver Nuggets in Houston taking on the Houston Rockets. Rockets are laying 7.5 points, and the total is 225. Denver's still playing through some injury here. Jokic and Strother are both ruled out. Then Jamal Murray, Christian Braun, and Aaron Gordon are all listed as probable. I personally don't like backing the Nuggets without Jokic. I don't like Jamal Murray on most nights, and I feel like the rest of the team is built around Joker distributing the ball. We just saw them lose to the Blazers by 19 points in their last outing. Now, coming into Houston against a rested Rockets team on a 9-game win streak, the Nuggets have a long night ahead of them. We're taking the Rockets laying the 7.5 as our second highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our last and final matchup of the evening, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder in LA taking on the LA Clippers. Thunder are laying 3 points, and the total is 226.5. The Thunder injury report is concerning coming into this one. Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, AJ Mitchell, and Ousmane Dieng are all still out. The Clippers come into this one at full strength, and we know they've been the best home team in the league. Problem is, the Thunder have been the best team in the league overall. Home, away, it hasn't mattered. This one really comes down to which James Harden we get. He can shoot the Clippers out of the game, or he can be the scorer and playmaker that we all know and love. Against the gritty Thunder defense, with Shea returning to LA, the team that traded him, my money's on the Thunder. I do think this game comes down to the wire, but in the end, I trust the boys in blue. We're taking the Thunder laying the 3 as our last and final selection of the evening. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm looking to get us back in that win column today. I've been on a little highlighted losing skid, but one thing I will say is I've been streaky to say the least. My wins and losses have all come in bunches. Once we see one go through, that's going to be the start of a heater. I appreciate the support so much. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo! And until the next one, I'm going to catch y'all. Peace.